Hello there, zealots. This is Joshua coming in today. So, I know this is primarily a biblical channel, and I get that. But I saw this video on YouTube, and it was about this guy who claimed he understood how Lars Andersen shot the arrow and what the difference is between the Eastern and the Western style. And I'm going to tell you something. I've been practicing this. I've been trying to figure out exactly how Lars Andersen does it, because he doesn't tell you how he does it. He does it, and it's frustrating. But I think I figured it out. Now, they said that there's a difference between Eastern and Western style archery, and the Eastern style archery or the Western style archery is to put it on this side of the bow, you knock it up, you pull back and you fire. But on the Western side, or Eastern side, you put it on this side of the bow, you pull it and fire, okay? Now he says that there's a split finger Mediterranean style of firing, and he says that according to the archer's paradox, if you put the arrow on this side of the bow, you can then use the split finger technique. But if you're on the right side of the bow, you can't use the split finger technique. You need to use the pinch, and then the pull, and then you need the freaking finger ring thing. And I'm like, no, you don't. You honestly, you don't. You don't, and they're liars, and I'm going to show you. So there's some people that are confused about some things. So the way you want to do this is you get a grip of arrows, okay? So you put them all on, see that right there? You just put them all between your three fingers right here. See? 1, 2, 3. And you can actually I've actually put up to 5 arrows in one freaking hand. And it's not easy, but you can do it. It's possible. Now, I don't know if you noticed this or not. Now, you have to make modifications to your arrows in order to do this. You have to. This is the difference between the Eastern and Western style. In order to make this work, you have to do modifications. So, like right here, I made these sharp pointy tips, and I took out the inside so there's no clips. It doesn't clip to the string. And I made these little, I duct taped the end so that way you have something to hold on to so it doesn't slip through your fingers when you're holding it. But once you do that, and that's really the only modifications you need to make to your arrows. Just they're sharp little like forks now rather than clips. They're actually wide nocks with pointed ends so that they find the string more easily. So then you have them like this. So now what you need to do, and this is what's really key here. So you're going to feel for your first one, because you don't want to look. You want to do this as quickly as possible. You're going to feel for your first one. You're going to push it down. Oh my gosh, one arrow lines up. It like goes perfectly down. And the fork lines up so that it'll go right onto the string. You see that? You see that? I'm going to do it again. So I have my thing here. I'm going to push down on it. It lines up perfectly with my bow. Now, I can just knock it. Try it again, because I did a little low. Go like this, boom, and knock it. Just like that. You see how that works? And then once I fire that one, I now go to my next one. And that one lines up. See how that one just pops up? And then I just fire. And then I do the exact same thing with this one. And see how little my hand is moving? And then you fire. That is how I believe he does it, because it's so little movement, so little, there's nothing, there's so little movement wasted, okay? It's all right here. Just pop it up with your thumb, and that way it also delineates, it keeps track of which arrows you're about to fire, which arrow you're about to fire, and which arrows you're not about to fire, because the gravity will separate them as long as you're pushing down on the butt of this. And it's straight. So even if your knock is straight up and down, right? If your knock is straight up and down, you push down your fingers, it's gonna, with your thumb, it's automatically gonna rotate so that you have this flap, these forks pointing outward, and so you can line it up. So see, like right here, I can push it down, and then I line it up so it goes straight on my freaking thing right there. You see how that works? This is the key. This is the key, and it took me a long time to figure this out. This is the key to how he does it. Because you can't shoot that fast without having just all your stuff right there. Now, I'm not as fast as Lars. I'm not even going to pretend like I am. But I figured him out. I figured him out. I know how he does it now. So here, let me. So now, this is how I see him doing it. So he goes like this. I see him go like this. Boom, 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 boom. See how that fast that was? See how fast that was? It's just because I'm not even looking at my string. I'm not even looking at my nocks. All I have to do is press down on the nock with my thumb, and it just pops into place. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you because Lars ain't sharing nothing. He's not sharing anything. So I have to figure it out. But yeah, that's how I figured it out, is that you don't have to worry about, you can use the split finger Mediterranean style on the right side of the bow. The whole concept that is the archer's paradox, it's crap. Don't listen to it. But you can do this. God bless. I mean, this is my Bible channel. I get it. I'm just saying here that that's how I've learned to do it, okay? And it works. It works fantastically well. And it's fast. And I'm like, wow, I can shoot through, like, check this out. So I'm going to grab a grip of arrows. And now something else here. So there's something else too. So like I have 4 in this hand right now. So I can just rotate through them. Boom, 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 boom. But what's also interesting is that you can also do it with the bottom 4 fingers. So remember I was doing it with the top 4? Or the top 2 fingers? Now I can also do it with the bottom 2 fingers, okay? And it's the exact same way, but the difference is, okay, so when you're shooting, I guess I should go with this in order. So, okay, when you're shooting from the bottom 2, and this is a skill that you need to learn if you want to shoot more than just, 5 per finger or 5 per hand, because you can basically double it up if you learn this skill, this next skill. Okay, this next skill is basically shooting from these 2 fingers rather than these 2 fingers, okay? Because when you're pulling on this bow from the upper side, you're going to be, so let me just show you with one. So when you're pulling from the bow, when you're pulling on the bow from one side, you're going to hold the arrow with 2 fingers, and you're going to actually pull back on the string with your third. I don't know if you can see this, but you're basically pulling back on the string with your third. The first 2 fingers are there just to hold your arrow in place. You shouldn't be putting a lot of pressure on the string with the 2 fingers that are holding the arrow, because that'll cause your arrow to go all over the place. What you want to do is you really want to be pulling with this on the string. This is the finger that's pulling. Now if you're loading all your arrows from these 2 fingers, because you don't want to be changing from one hand, you don't want to be flipping them over here or flipping them back down to here. You want to shoot them where they're at. If they're in these fingers, leave them there, and you need to learn to shoot from there. So it's just reversed. So if I'm pulling from this side, I want to pull with this finger, and I'm going to hold the arrow with these 2 fingers. So it's going to look like this. So it's more difficult because you're not used to it, but then boom, like that. Now if you have, this is where it gets interesting. So if you have 3, let me hold on, let me get some arrows here. So now if you have 3, 1, 2, 3 on the bottom, and you have 3 on the top, this is where it gets confusing, because now you have to choose. Now what I do is I usually start with the one that's sticking out furthest. So right now on it almost always is going to be the bottom 2 that stick out furthest. See there? These ones stick out furthest. So I'm going to lead with those ones. I'm going to push down on my thumb and it pops out. Push down my thumb, the second one pops out, and so on and so forth. When I run out of the ones on the bottom, then I go to the ones on the top. See how that works? So we're going to go here. Boom. We're going to go boom. I'm not so good at this, but I'm showing you the basics because this is also what I'm learning. And then I'm going to go boom. And then I can just straight up go to my normal boom, boom, and boom. See how that works? Super simple. Anyway, I just thought I'd bring this to your attention because it was something that was really bothering me that nobody seemed to have figured out. And I wanted to be the first one to throw my hat into the ring to tell you, I think I figured it out. Modifying nocks is super important. It's so important. I can't tell you how important it is. Making sure you have an ambidextrous bow, a light bow. You don't want to have anything very heavy. You want to have something very light. This is actually just a modified Quicksilver bow with like the youth bow. It's just a modified Quicksilver, highly modified, mind you. I took off all the rubberized parts and sanded some stuff down. Also, one thing I wanted to talk about before we end this, a lot of people are concerned that when you're shooting arrows, see how the fletching, one fletching is a different color than the rest of them? And the reason is because that fletching is supposed to be pointing away from the bow. However, in this, you really don't have time to pay attention to that. And a lot of people are like, no, you have to. I'm like, honestly, when it comes to Eastern style archery, don't even worry about it. Now, does this cause damage to your arrows? Yes, it does. But The whole point of shooting is to do damage to somebody. When you're shooting a gun, you're not really concerned about whether it does damage to your bullet or not. You're shooting a bullet and knowing it's going to be wasted. Well, arrows are reusable ammunition, which is nice. It's nice to have reusable ammunition. But in reality, if it's a life and death situation, who cares if your fletching gets knocked or ripped or torn or whatever? It'll survive a couple of hits. And I just make sure that when I'm firing, I don't even look. I don't even look at the fletching. So 50% of the time it's going to be right, 50% of the time it's not. But I'm going to tell you something. Worrying about it slows you down. It slows you down tremendously. And honestly, if you want to be a really fast archer, you want to make sure that you don't let anything slow you down. So this is what I've come to. You have to modify the nocks. You can use split finger, but you have to do if you want to have more than 5 arrows in one hand, you're gonna have to modify your split finger. You have to learn how to do a modified split finger for the bottom 2 rows. But anyway, this is what I was bringing up. I just want to bring this to your attention. Nobody seems to be teaching it. Yeah. Anyway, you guys have a great day. You know I love God because I love virtue, justice, and salvation. You guys have a great day. Peace, love, and agreement is forever. Bye-bye.